Chantel and Rocky's awkward dinner date, 90-day, hunt for love. The lights of downtown glimmered against the darkening sky, a perfect backdrop for romance. Or so the producers had hoped. Chantel had taken extra time getting ready, slipping into a soft blush dress that hugged her figure in all the right places. Her hair was styled to perfection, her makeup subtle but flawless. She told herself she wasn't nervous, but her fingers had been fiddling with her clutch the entire Uber ride to the restaurant. Rocky, on the other hand, arrived with the casual swagger of a man who thought confidence was enough to fill any awkward silence. He wore a navy blazer over a plain white shirt, but it was the way he walked, like he was already the star of his own story, that made Chantel raise an eyebrow the moment she saw him. "Chantel?" Rocky said, his voice warm but edged with a curious smirk. "That's me," she replied, forcing a polite smile as they exchanged a quick hug that was a little too brief to feel natural. They were seated at a cozy corner table, candles flickering between them. The restaurant's soft jazz soundtrack hummed in the background, but instead of creating romance, it seemed to amplify the tension building in the air. "So," Rocky began, picking up his menu but barely glancing at it. "You're even prettier in person." Chantel let out a small laugh, unsure if she should thank him or change the subject. Compliments were nice, but something in his tone made it feel like he was assessing her, not appreciating her. "Thanks," she said, opening her menu as if the list of appetizers might save her from making too much eye contact. The first awkward pause arrived quickly. Chantel scanned the options, pretending to be fascinated by the chef's special seafood risotto. Rocky seemed more interested in leaning back in his chair and studying her like a puzzle he hadn't decided if he wanted to solve. "So, what brings you to hunt for love?" Rocky finally asked, breaking the silence. Chantel's lips curled into a diplomatic smile. "Same as you, I guess. Looking for something real. I've been through enough situationships and half-hearted romances to know I want commitment now." Rocky chuckled, shaking his head. "See, that's the thing. Everyone says they want commitment, but they don't want to do the work." Her eyebrow twitched. "And you do." "I mean," Rocky shrugged, "relationships should be fun, not like homework. You know what I'm saying." Chantel wasn't sure she did. Her mind flickered back to the producer's pep talk earlier. Be open, be curious, and remember, sometimes the most awkward moments make the best television. Their waiter arrived to take their orders, giving Chantel a much-needed breather. She ordered the risotto. Rocky went for the steak, medium rare, with an extra side of garlic bread. As soon as the waiter left, Rocky leaned in slightly, lowering his voice. "I looked you up online before this." Chantel's heart skipped. "You what?" "Yeah," he said casually, sipping his water. "Nothing crazy, just your Instagram. You have this one picture in a red dress, and wow, you clean up nice." She let out a slow breath. "That's kind of the point of Instagram." He grinned, unbothered.
"True.
"But I'm just saying, I like a woman who knows how to present herself." Chantel took another sip of her wine, suddenly aware that the conversation was veering into dangerous waters. "So, what about you?" she asked, steering the spotlight back. "What's your story?" Rocky launched into a rambling monologue about his entrepreneurial ventures, which seemed to involve flipping used motorcycles and occasionally selling luxury sneakers online. Chantel nodded politely, though her mind wandered to the fact that he had yet to ask her anything meaningful about herself. The food arrived just in time to save her from further listening. Chantel took her first bite of risotto and closed her eyes briefly. It was creamy, rich, and far more comforting than Rocky's company. "You're quiet," Rocky observed between bites of steak. "I'm listening," she replied evenly. "Yeah, but you're hard to read. Are you shy or just not feeling me?" The directness caught her off guard. Cameras or no cameras, Chantel believed in honesty. "I think we're very different, which isn't a bad thing. I just don't know yet." Rocky smirked, like her uncertainty was a challenge. "Different can be good. Opposites attract, right?" "Sometimes," she said, taking another sip of wine. The conversation stumbled on. They talked about travel. Chantel loved exploring new cultures. Rocky admitted he hadn't been outside the country but thought, Europe would be cool someday. They talked about family. She was close to hers. He described his as complicated and quickly changed the subject. The real awkwardness hit when Rocky reached across the table, not for her hand, but for a piece of her garlic bread. You weren't eating it, he said with a grin, even as she stared at him, speechless. By dessert, Chantel had resigned herself to the fact that this was not the love story TLC hoped it would be. Still, she kept her composure, smiling for the cameras and giving polite answers. When the check came, Rocky glanced at it, then at her. "Want to split it?" She blinked. "Excuse me? I mean, it's 2025. Equality and all that," he said with a shrug. Chantel slowly reached for her wallet, not because she couldn't pay, but because she was suddenly very aware that she wanted this night over. Outside, the cool night air felt like freedom. Rocky walked beside her, hands in his pockets, acting as though the date had gone perfectly. "We should do this again," he said. Chantel smiled faintly, the kind of smile that hides an escape plan. "We'll see." The producers, standing a few feet away with their cameras still rolling, exchanged knowing looks. In the unpredictable world of 90 Day, Hunt for Love, sometimes the most uncomfortable moments were the ones that kept viewers coming back for more. As Chantel slid into her waiting Uber, she glanced back once. Rocky was still standing on the sidewalk, scrolling through his phone, completely oblivious to the fact that he had just starred in one of the most painfully awkward dinner dates in TLC history. For Chantel, the evening was a reminder. The hunt for love wasn't just about finding someone, it was about filtering out the ones who made you grateful for your own company. And for the audience, this was reality TV gold.